Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to the Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and the Middletown Township Public School District website, and the posting of such notice at the August T. Minor administrative offices and each elementary, middle, and secondary school in district. Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti? Here. Mrs. Farley? Here. Mr. Fitzgerald?
Here.
Mrs. Minunes?
Here.
Mrs. Gillespie?
Here.
Mr. Toth?
Here.
Mrs. Wright?
Here.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Here.
Mr. Capone?
Here. Need a motion to approve exec session for HIB and personnel matters.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? See you in a while. Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the pledge and a moment of silence for Deborah Fallback, who passed away on April 22nd, 2024. Deborah worked as a secretary in the district at Ocean Avenue Elementary School before retiring in 2017. We extend our deepest condolences to the Fallback family. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we're now going to open up the meeting with our student speakers from High School North, Mr. Aiden Obisera.
Just right. Oh, wrong.
Just hold it down.
There we go. Go.
Oh, check.
Hello? There we go. All right, I knew something had happened. Good evening.
Good evening.
As the Pride, a student staff member of the month recognition program celebrates academic excellence and reinforces the value of maintaining a strong work ethic. Last month's award recipients include our 9th graders, Gabrielle Stingel and Aiden Flee, our 10th graders, Robert Kimball and Danielle and C.D. Saw, our 11th graders, Juliana Sotosanti and Patrick Buonakista, and our 12th graders, Danielle Dam and Olivia Zrebick. Our staff member is Mr. Vilo, our CST secretary. Our annual Arts Fusion Showcase students' talents and display their remarkable artistic projects. It was an impressive exhibit and was well attended by community members. Owen Weston earned the Reynolds Lawyer Medal Award, a prestigious honor that demonstrates outstanding achievement in math and science. Our boys and girls track program both earned a North Championship titles following strong performances at the divisional meet this month. Patrick Devine placed 3rd in the high school national powerlifting competition in New Orleans, a phenomenal achievement. Our reverse praise referral programs present students with opportunities to recognize staff members' positive contributions and influence throughout the school. All nominees receive a certificate in High School North Super Council consisting of elected officials from each co-curricular club, then selects one monthly co-recipient based upon the submissions. Last month's award winner was Ms. Torres, our Spanish teacher. North was recognized as a U.S. News and World Report Best High School, a noteworthy accomplishment. Yes, applause, please. There we go. 3 of our talented artists, Magic Gover, Gianna Cassoni, and Riley Luma, painted a fantastic baseball dugout mural celebrating the program's recent historical successes. This will enrich the field for years to come. Nicholas Alfranco and David Cole's horror film, Death is Near, was selected for and recently screened at the Princeton Film Festival. Daniela Laranero and Olivia Zrebick received Italian scholarships through the Italian Teachers Association of New Jersey and the Cochia Foundation for their exceptional performances in Italian over 4 years. 13 highly decorated student athletes will be celebrated at our spring signing event on Tuesday, May 21st in our Upper Gymnasium. These individuals will sign national letters of intent and national letters of intent to compete at universities across the country. AP testing begins on Monday, May 6th. 360 students will be taking 517 exams on our campus. This morning, the administrative team conducted an AP test assembly to provide inspiration and discuss testing procedures. Bring Your Child to Work Day featured our peer leaders buddying up with staff members, children, and escorting them to various activities throughout the school. Our teachers facilitated art, science, video gaming, world language, physical education, and social studies related experiences. It was a memorable day for the community. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Aiden.
Hello, me and my 3 friends, we founded a club at North. Athlete Allies for Autism is a new student-led co-curricular club at High School North. Its purpose is to develop relationships between general education students and students with special needs, as well as to share our passion for sports.
We have already visited New Monmouth Elementary School on 2 occasions since our founding on the date of March 1st, 2024. During these visits, we became acquainted with the students in kindergarten through 5th grade, and we played alongside them in a series of enjoyable games.
These games included catch, kickball, tag, and more. It has been such a rewarding experience so far, and we look forward to strengthening these relationships in the months and years to come.
Thank you guys so much. It means so much to all of us that you thought of this club and you reached out and that you've grown it already and so quickly. I know it means a lot to the kids and we just really are grateful. So thank you.
And so proud of you.
Very proud.
Very
So
proud.
proud of you.
Could we get everybody's name though, if you don't mind? Jack Jensen,
McKenna Gibson.
McKenna Gibson,
James Jensen, I'm his brother.
James.
Joseph Tucci.
Joseph Tucci. Thank you all. for
Good job, guys.
Okay, next up, our High School South speaker, Mr. Jake Dembowski.
Good evening, it's nice to see all of you here tonight. Students who received recognition in the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program are Colin Burson, Anna Kanaka, Patrick Dempsey, Ryan Rankin, Rashay Gupta, and David Stalker. On April 20th, South Junior Rashay Gupta placed second in the engineering category at the New Jersey Academy of Science Junior Academy program during their annual meeting at Kane University. His project title is Infrared Localization, Designing a Novel End Effector for Pneumatic EMS Soft Robots. First and second place category winners at this event are invited to present at the American Junior Academy of Sciences meeting in conjunction with the American Academy of Science annual meeting to be held in Boston next year. Rashay Gupta also presented at the Delaware Valley Science Fair. He was not selected to move on to the International Science Fair. However, he did receive first place and $500 for a promise of future engineering excellence from the Pennsylvania Society of Professional Engineers Valley Forge chapter. He reported that the fair was a great experience and he's very happy with the results. And thank you all for the support. The Mid-South academic team closed out the year on a high note. 3 Mid-South teams faced off against tough competition from over 20 other schools at the Massed Pop Culture Bowl. However, these teams were no match for the likes of Patrick Dimitri, Ryan Limekiller, Madison Sheik, Stephen Aponte, Mia Dimitri, and Izzy Mezabowski. The team took home first place, becoming the first academic team to do so. Their 2 fellow teams finished in 11th and 18th place. The team is looking forward to preparing for next year's competition. Congrats, Eagles. Congratulations to Mr. Kamolas on being selected as a recipient on the Monmouth University Roberts Charitable Foundation Outstanding Teaching Award. The selection committee was impressed by his creativity, commitment to teaching, and the impact he has had on the lives of his students. We are fortunate to have dedicated teachers like Mr. Kamolas at Middletown South. Congratulations to Luke Savini, Christian Guzone, Alex Ross, Ben DeMarco, and Michael Puma. Their films, The Half-Naked Gun and The Last Call, took home awards for Best Picture and Best Cinematography at this year's Kent Place Film Festival in Summit, New Jersey. The spring sports season is in full swing, with over 400 students competing in 9 different sports. The tennis team competed at the Stockton Invitational, winning their 2 matches against Atsugami and Egg Harbor Township. In track and field, sophomores Logan Burbank and Braddock Smith took home first and second in the A North Divisional meet, while junior Peter Chalia took home the title in pole vault. On the girls' side, Rosie Shea, Abby Ogilvie, and Caitlin Brown swept the first 3 spots in the 3,200 meters, and Maddie Hussey won the shot put. The boys' golf team had an outstanding season, highlighted by senior Dan Cassidy finishing 3rd in the short conference championship. South's staff student cornhole tournament came to a conclusion the day before spring break, with the team of Mr. Jeff Parkle and Brian Bauer defeating Mr. Kevin Hickey and Sean Strauss in the championship. The tournament raised over $1,400 with a $900 donation going to the winner's charity, Breast Intentions, and $250 going to the runner-up, Memorial Sloan Kettering, while also having a $250 donation going to a randomly chosen charity, the Celiac Disease Foundation. April is Alcohol Awareness Month. It is recognized each April as a time to bring understanding and prevention to alcohol abuse and the individuals and their families and friends who are affected by it. The National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence has chosen the color purple to represent and acknowledge the many lives that are affected and support individuals who are impacted. In an effort to raise public awareness, April 19th of this year was proclaimed Wear Purple Day in Monmouth County. Staff and students were encouraged to wear purple on this day in an effort to acknowledge the importance of alcohol awareness. Congratulations to 4 Middletown High School South students, Saoirse Struxkowitz, Lily Ranieri, Isabella Sidores, and Anthony DeMarco. They are winners of the Monmouth County High School Playwright Festival. Their plays were chosen from those submitted by students across the county. Their accomplishment should be celebrated. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jake. Now we're going to turn the microphone over to Mrs. Alphone to speak about the presentation, the final 24-25 to school year.
All right. So thank you everyone for coming out this evening. And I'm just going to preface this by saying I am extremely proud of the budget that we are putting forward this year for board approval. It really was a collaboration amongst our administrative team, our Board of Education, our building administration, in an effort, as I had spoke about at the tentative budget hearing last month, in realizing some very specific goals moving into next school year. And those things were to continue to expand upon the educational excellence that we hold as our standard here in Middletown. We want to continue to keep moving forward and progress the experience and opportunities that we give to our students. We wanted to also create a really efficient model for sustaining a lot of our services and support across the district. And then finally, we wanted to present something that we felt was fiscally responsible to the taxpayer. So those are the 3 real overarching goals that we went into this budget really trying to realize in the end. So Shannon, if you could advance to, I just spoke about that, so we can go to the next one. So these are the budget numbers that are most relevant to the public. The most important thing, and the thing that I think we're all really, really proud of, is we're able to include in this budget some really amazing things for our students, which I'll get into a little bit later, but we're doing that with only a 1% overall increase from our budget this year, which is really amazing. The tax increase to the taxpayer, as you can see, is 2.95. That has not changed from where we spoke about last month, where that percentage increase would be. And as you can see, the impact to the average home assessed in Middletown is, the average home is assessed at about $650,000, give or take, and the monthly and yearly impact you can see based on that average home assessment. Our total operating budget, you can see there, it's pretty big, over $183 million, but we are a large operation running 16 buildings and educating approximately 9,000 students. So those are the most important budget numbers when you boil it down for you and the public as a taxpayer. So go ahead, Jen. Here are some of the revenues that we do receive, and if you remember last month, I spoke about the fact that over time, our state aid has significantly declined. And while we receive almost $14 million in state aid, that has been cut drastically over the last 5 to 7 years to the approximate amount of between $4 and $5 million. And when you look at that in an operating budget, that's a significant amount that we've had to compensate for, and we've done that through the realizing of efficiencies and really analyzing our spending and how we're structured in order to prioritize things that we feel are the most important to give students that, excellent experience that we certainly promote and have come to know as what's important here in Middletown. We do receive extraordinary aid, $1.7 million. We do get some transportation revenue, which is about $500,000, some semi-reimbursements, a little under $250,000. We did benefit from the sale of our Port Monmouth property. That sale will be finalized in the upcoming months for $2.5 million and has really been a real benefit to us in being able to do some really positive things, which I'll get into, but the highlight of that really is being able to put full-time art and music back into our elementary schools. So that revenue source is being used to help offset some other costs so that way we can move forward with that initiative, because we do feel it's a really, really important thing for setting the tone for fine and performing arts across the district. And then we have some miscellaneous revenues that come in from tuition and other sources. So our programmatic enhancements that are priorities in this year's budget are really exciting. This is my second go-round in Middletown, and these are some things that we've been talking about for the better part of, I would say, 7 to 10 years. Number one, and certainly something that I'm tremendously excited about, being a curriculum, I have a curriculum background, that's where my passion is, and an elementary principal for many years, is the implementation of Orton Gillingham and our ability to be able to provide that to all of our students in our primary grades, K to 2, as our foundational literacy program. It really is a powerful philosophy of instruction related to foundational literacy. It addresses students that have learning disabilities, particularly dyslexia, and it really is effective in ensuring that our students have strong literacy skills moving through their elementary school experience. We are also going to couple that with a pilot of Orton Gillingham's morphology program, which is a word study program for students in 3rd through 5th grade. And we also are going to be working towards a redesign of our 3rd through 5th grade literacy program with a greater focus on emphasis on core skills that are present in the curriculum and in the standards, so that way we can ensure that students really do master, or the greatest mastery possible is achieved before moving into those middle school years, where there is a greater and heightened requirement for application of those skills that they're really learning in that pre-K to 5 range. So we're excited for that, something that we certainly are going to be able to move forward with next year in this budget. Number 3, as I spoke about, something we are tremendously excited about is the return of full-time art and music to the district. We definitely felt this was a high priority in the sense of building back our young learners' ability to be exposed to art and music, so that way they can experience and potentially see that as something that they could pursue moving through their middle school years and on into high school. That really dovetails nicely with our redesign of our middle school elective courses, which will give a greater emphasis to student choice within the electives and sustainment of their ability to be able to stay with something that they're passionate about, whether it be art, music, technology, really setting them on the path for those passions that we really are trying to cultivate at a young age and continue to grow all throughout the K-12 continuum. If you take a look at number 4, we are looking to improve our structures for elementary building support with our school social workers and school psychologists, shoring up both our child study team and ensuring that those teams in our buildings are working cohesively and in a connected manner to provide the greatest degree of support for all of our students, whether it be students that are general education students or students that are special education students. That combined effort between our former SBSSs and our child study team members, who all, except for our learning consultants, work under their school social work or school psychologist certificates, which are New Jersey Department of Education certificates. They're not clinical certificates, but all of those individuals are able to support not only special education students, but all of our learners in the building with various things. So this will create more connectivity and cohesion. Our 5th item up there that's of major importance is the refurbishment of the Lincroft Annex for our 8 to 21-year-old transition program. We refer to it as our Miles program, and we are really excited about this. We are hoping to get that up and running for September, where we can have our 18 to 21-year-old adult transition program off-site, because it mimics an adult experience that's work-based, more so than housing it in one of our, right now it's housed at High School South. So we are looking to refurbish that Lincroft Annex, which is a property we own, to be like a functioning house with a kitchen and some mocked up bedroom spaces where students can actually come in the morning, practice life skills, and go out to a work site. So that is definitely something that we will be one of the only districts in Monmouth County to have that type of off-site location for our 18 to 21-year-old program. And then the final high priority in the budget, which I spoke about last month, is our migration back to district-employed related services personnel, mostly our OTs, occupational therapists, and physical therapy staffs. Right now, we contract the majority of them with outside vendors. We are still going to contract some degree. We are going to be bringing gradually over time many back into being employed under our umbrella. It gives us a little more autonomy in stationing them in buildings that have high needs. We have the ability for them to have sustained relationships with the students they're working with, versus sometimes with a contract provider where it could change be very variable based on the availability of the provider. So this is not going to be something that happens overnight. We're going to gradually migrate it back, so we ensure that we have the right balance of contracted employees and outsourced related services in the most fiscally responsible manner. But doing this will help us to realize some immediate cost savings. So these are the 4 broader buckets that we looked to create efficiencies within our budget. And really, this didn't come with the elimination of things. It came with some consolidations. It came with some new ways of thinking about things that we have done certain ways for quite a long time. And I commend my administrative team and the board, because this really was a very think tank mentality. And our mission was, how do we do this better, right? How do we do this better? How do we create structures that are effective, that are efficient, and that, most importantly, meet the needs of our students in our classrooms each and every day? So our goal was to have this budget, be proposed without any impact to students in classrooms. And that was really something that we were unwilling to concede in this process. And that's really what I'm most proud of, is we've benefited from this new model and this new structure. So the first thing that I want to talk about are some of the modified supplemental support services. So we are going to modify our footprint for our interventionists at both the middle and the high school. Because of the way the schedule is structured and you're locked into a very bell-to-bell schedule, it becomes more and more challenging to pull students out of class for intervention. So we feel that we can repurpose some of those interventionists back into classrooms to maybe run some additional sections and do some other things, There still will be interventionists at the middle and the high school, just not as significant of a number because we feel they're more purposeful in classrooms with kids. We are going to be modifying our media specialist footprint at the middle school so they can take on some of our gifted and talented instruction for our 6th grade students across the 3 buildings. And this will also come with our educational technology specialists being returned to classrooms to work with students in those areas. As I had briefly mentioned on the previous slide when I talked about our child study teams and our social workers and school psychologists, we're going to be recategorizing our SBSSs, who are our social behavioral support specialists at the middle school. They, as I had mentioned, all work under their social work or school psychologist license. So they are just going to be put under that greater umbrella with the rest of the social workers and school psychologists. So that way they're a connected group that are working for the betterment of all the kids in the school. So that gives us greater flexibility on streamlining some of the work and having multiple people in each of our elementary schools who have different skill sets, whether it be a combination of a learning consultant and a school psychologist, or a learning consultant and a social worker. So we do believe this efficiency and this shift in structure, not lessening of people, but a shift in structure helps us support our students better collectively in each building. We are going to realize some savings through attrition from central office administrative costs. You'll see on the agenda tonight, we do have the retirement of an administrator that we're just going to shuffle some responsibility around in order to streamline ourselves up administratively across the district. We are also going to be taking a look at our security footprint. There is no absolute on where this is going to land, but our goal is to provide the safest environments for our students across the district, pre-K to 12, utilizing both our Class 3 officers and our security guards in a way that is cost-effective, efficient, and doesn't compromise safety. So we will have a cost savings there, but it won't come at the detriment to student safety. So we will start rolling that out. We're still formalizing some plans on that, but certainly our goal is to be not only safe and secure, but also financially responsible. We're going to be moving towards aligning at the middle school our guidance ratios to the national standard, which is approximately one counselor for 250 or so students. This is because a middle school counselor's role is much different than a high school guidance counselor's role, and we're going to be taking some of those middle school guidance counselors in line with those ratios and utilizing them for other purposes in working with our students in counseling settings, but not necessarily guidance per se. And then finally, under this category is the reconfiguration of our RBT structure. We not only employ some RBTs in our district, we're going to drop our 12 footprint a bit in order to be able to outsource to a contracted provider for some other things. Sometimes our needs, are easier met with flexibility through a contracted provider, but just like with our OTs and PTs, we want the right balance. So in order to be able to do that effectively, we're going to drop our footprint of hired people for our RBTs temporarily to see how that partners up with our contracted services. So that way we have some people that we deploy immediately, and then for our more significant situations, we may outsource to a provider if needed. So under the curriculum umbrella, we're going to streamline some of our curricular expenses. Our iReady digital tool, we're going to be modifying that. We feel that our kindergarten students, our littlest learners that would be potentially utilizing something like this, we're going to scale back for them, and we're not going to be purchasing the digital tool for them for next year. We did poll our kindergarten teachers to get feedback. We had some parent feedback as well. And we do believe that this is the right move for that grade level. That will help us realize some cost savings in that area. We also have taken a look at our usage statistics on other digital tools within the district and made decisions as to whether to keep some certain tools or not keep certain tools based on usage. Because when you get low usage statistics and you're paying a high rate for some of these tools, every time you're using them, they're costing you a lot of money. So it's important to really look at the usage to see if what you're paying is worth the benefit across the district. So that's how we made those decisions. We will be deferring some of our curriculum writing that we can. Sometimes we're caught in between cycles where we're waiting for standards to be revised at the state level. So we've pushed pause on things that we know are coming down maybe a year or so from now. It's not a detriment to anything. And we've also done the same thing with our textbook subscriptions. Most of our textbooks are ebooks. So we want to make sure we realize the full 6-year cycle, which is what typically you purchase before renewing, even if a new version comes out. We just make sure that the standards are still covered and we continue to maintain that textbook for the life of the subscription whenever possible. As I had mentioned, our amended related services model, I won't belabor this point, but it's the migration back of some Middletown employees for OT, PT, and speech services, and we'll be continuing to look at that and move some more back over the course of the next couple of years. And then the final big bucket is the modification of our mental health support structure across the district. And as I mentioned last month, we benefited, as did all the districts, really across the country, in federal money related to COVID learning loss, COVID mental health concerns. That money is termed. It is no longer available to us. Those project periods have ended. And with that has come the funding that was backing a lot of the more extensive mental health supports that we've had. And if you kind of rewind to a time prior to COVID, we had a moderate level of mental health support in the district because we are an educational entity. Certainly there was a need after COVID to really ramp that up for that specific purpose. And I do believe it's time for us to dial that back, not only from a financial perspective, but we have returned to a greater sense of normalcy and the focus swinging back towards, not that mental health is not important and not that we don't support it, but certainly there is a good balance in those things. So we are going to be reducing our Tier 2 effective school solution support across the district. Other than a Tier 2 counselor, we will retain to conduct our Fit to Returns, which is after a threat assessment is conducted, and we will maintain all of our Tier 3 counseling services. And those are our clinical, our licensed clinicians that Effective School Solutions provides for us. And when people refer to the ESS program and the Tier 3 clinicians, those are the individuals that we're talking about, and those are the individuals that will be retained through that contract for next school year. So these are, from those 4 buckets that I just talked about, the approximate cost savings that we were able to realize through restructuring things. And again, it was the mentality of just thinking differently about how we can do this better. By looking at things differently, by repurposing things that had been around for a long time but maybe weren't serving the purpose that they were intended to originally. As I said in the beginning, I am extremely proud of this. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the work that the team did on this. I'm proud for the school community, and I'm really, really, really excited for all of the great things that are in this budget for next year, because I do feel like it continues to move us ahead in a direction that I know I am, my administrative team is, and the board is confident that we will continue to be a district across the state that really people look to see what we're doing. Everybody wants to know what's Middletown, what are we doing? And it's because we have this standard of excellence and we really do value being progressive and putting the best experiences in front of our students. So thank you very much. We appreciate you coming out and showing support. I'll, close it with that, but thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alphone. Thank questions from anybody on the board, or?
I just want to know if we could address the security issue, because that seems to be a concern.
Sure, I can expand on it. Right now, we are evaluating our security footprint across the district. As you know, we have class 3 officers and we have security guards in all of our buildings. So our goal is to be safe and secure, 100%, but to also be financially responsible. And that doesn't mean making a blanket cut to any one area. We want to dial into where the places and the times of day that have the greatest need and then staff to that capacity. So that's our goal. We do have some ways that we can cost save in a new model. And again, I'm going to go back to it's thinking about things differently. It's not necessarily eradicating one area or another. It's how do we restructure this to get the greatest efficiency and also the greatest value for the money that we're putting into the budget in certain areas. So we will certainly not be focusing on any one area. It's really going to come after a really extensive view of the needs and the times of day when we need the highest levels of security, whether it's arrival, dismissal, after school, before school, and that's how we're going to staff it. We have, like I said, we have class 3 officers and we have security guards, all equally important in different ways, and then we're going to put a footprint together that makes sense for us here in Middletown. That's the goal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if anybody has any comments to make on our budget? State your name and address for it.
Mark Topper, 38 now. I just have a question. You have the $2.5 million from Fort Monmouth School, which is great. What are the plans next year after you don't have that additional $2.5 million? You know, the plans for, so you're not in a $2.5 million gap next year?
Yeah, to continue to look for efficiencies, cost savings across the board. I mean, there are some things that, you know, we've discussed that could potentially happen, but I'm not going to put the cart before the horse at this point. But again, it's going back to staffing to need, right? And so we're moving into a model that helps us to have greater efficiency across the district, and I hope we continue to move in that direction. Yeah, I think it's an important piece.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to make a comment?
Amber Espinas, Middletown. I'm just not understanding the shifts in the middle school formation of how everything's shifting there.
Which part?
The whole,
So our media specialists are going to be taking on gifted and talented, and we are going to realize some savings through attrition. We have a media specialist at the middle school potentially retiring, and then they will be shared amongst 3 buildings and also do gifted and talented. And then we will have our educational technology specialists. Middle school is the last level across our district that still has that position, so they're going to be phased back to classroom positions. And then our guidance counseling footprint is going to be put in line with that ratio I talked about, and some of those individuals will be repurposed to other guidance positions in the district or to potentially SAC positions, because some of them do hold SAC certifications.
so right now, I know at Thorne, it's 1 guidance counselor per class. So 6th grade has all guidance, 7th, 8th.
They're actually in line with the ratio of Thorne.
So that,
They will stay satisfied.
they stay the same,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yep.
So what about the interventionists? I'm not understanding.
So we, over time, have grown our interventionist crew at the middle school to be 12 across the district, which is 2 in each content area in each building, which is more than any other level in the district. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how did we get here? However, we have to remember those interventionists are excellent math and literacy teachers. So they are going to be a benefit in the classroom and really impactful classrooms of kids. So all we're doing is taking that and putting it in line with what the rest of the district has. So each building will have 1 literacy and 1 math interventionist, and then the other individuals will go back into classrooms to teach their content area.
And how does that affect like the students with the IUPs? Like,
It doesn't.
it doesn't.
The interventionists work with our general education population.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not affecting, the interventionists are not affecting the IUP students?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to make a comment? Moving forward, Elizabeth.
Okay.
This is on budget, right?
Victoria Ryan, Belford. I'm trying to understand the budget cuts with security. All I know is what I saw online, that all the security guards are coming out of all the elementary schools. And to me, that just seems wrong.
That's not our goal, as I just mentioned.
Okay, so what is the goal?
The goal, as I said, is to make sure that the buildings are safe and secure
Yeah, but
during
you
the
said-
highest times of student traffic, whether it's arrival, dismissal, recess, and then staff it to need. Size of building matters. We have class 3 officers, and certainly we're going to be rolling out the restructured footprint in the coming weeks.
Well, when you say when important times like dismissal or coming into school, who's to say if somebody was to come into school to do something, it's going to say, well, we're only going to do it, when school starts or when it ends.
No, well,
If you don't have them there during the
we
day,
have class 3 officers there all day.
I don't know.
We do have a police presence in the building.
I
the
just think
entire
of all the principals we have in 2 high schools, that, if we redirected some of that money to keep on the security guards that can actually interact with our children during the day if there's spikes and this, because class 3s can't. They can't touch a student, they can't subdue a student if they're doing something. But a security guard, again, they're trained in it. And then that responsibility is now placed on our teachers. When they shouldn't have to be, they should be teaching.
Would anyone else like to comment? See what else coming forward, we're gonna move on. Committee reports, curriculum and instruction. Yes.
The board just has to take a vote.
I do it, I don't know. Okay. I need a motion to approve presentation of the final 24-25 school year budget.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Anyone on the committee reports to Mrs. Farley, curriculum and instruction?
Yes, thank you. We met last week, and a few things that we covered in the elementary level, 4th and 5th grade. They convened a committee of teachers to look at coming up with a kind of hybrid report card structure to get those students better prepared for the switch from the standards-based sort of 1 through E to the numerical grading that they'll face in middle school and high school, because, feedback has been that it's a big jump. It's a big learning curve to sort of adjust from that standards-based to the numerical system. So for 4th and 5th grade, probably some kind of a hybrid between numerical and standards-based will be launched for next year. So they're working on that. Orton Gillingham, as Mrs. Alphone mentioned in the budget presentation, Orton Gillingham is going to be adopted in all of the elementary schools for K through 2, and all of our K through 2 elementary school teachers will be Orton Gillingham trained before September. So going into next school year, everybody will be trained and ready to go. And then also, as Mrs. Alphone mentioned, the morphology pilot for 3 through 5 will be rolling out in a couple of the schools to see how that will work and whether that should be adopted in the future. There is the Too Good for Violence program in conjunction with the Middletown Police Department. This is something that considering rolling out for next year in the 6th grade as an extension of the LEAD program, which the 5th graders receive. And it's, character education, setting goals, conflict resolution, positive decision-making. The feedback from the middle schools is that this would be something that would be very beneficial to the students, especially to continue that education from the 5th grade. So that's something that we're looking into for next year. And I think that's it.
Ms. Farley? Moving on to student services, Mr. Felt.
Thank you. Yes, special services also met on April 25th. I noticed the AAA students left. I was impressed they were here as long as they were. But I just want to say on behalf of our committee, that I can't think of a better example that's being set for not only students but teachers and adults and throughout the town. Everything. That's just a home run, and it was born out of their minds. They created it, but it came up at the parent feedback sessions we hosted a few months ago. And I was there, and the mother of the student who founded it mentioned that they had created this. They were moving along. They had hit a little bit of some administrative roadblocks. And, kudos to the students to high school north to administration, it wasn't, no one was gonna say, all right, well, we'll get this going next year. It was, you know, mountains were moved, and it happened within weeks that it got what they needed to move forward. And I was surprised to hear it was happening this baseball season, this spring. So, that was just awesome, and that's something we're all very proud of. And then Ms. Alphone touched on a lot of these items, but I'll just highlight, you know, despite the really awful financial realities and budget hits we continue to take year after year after year from Trenton, like she said, to the tune of like $5 million over the last 4 or 5 years. I was pleased that despite, you know, those difficulties, the special ed and special services programs, I don't think were, you know, negatively impacted at all. You know, for example, the related services positions that we're doing more efficiently by going in-house, what that means is we're hiring 6 new people by this fall to occupy those OT and PT roles, which is really exciting. I'll also, something we talked about in our community meeting, which was exciting, is that we've heard for a while now that the foreign language teachers are struggling with, you know, having support in the classrooms for students with IEPs and 504s who are in foreign language classes, which is just an extra layer of difficulty. But, you know, through the scheduling process, the way that's going to go going forward is the administrators are identifying professionals already on staff who have the right certificates who can support those language teachers with an in-class consultative model to provide the right assistance for the students with those needs. And then similarly, the redeployment of everybody who was an SBSS, a social behavioral support specialist, into the roles of learning teacher consultants, school social workers, psychologists. You know, none of those people are going away. They're being redeployed in a much more efficient and impactful way on a broader group of students. So that's all very exciting, despite, you know, the budget realities. All good stuff to hear. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tuck. I'm going to pass over to Ms. Doherty for finance and facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Capone. So the Finance Committee did, although the board did only vote, I will report that the Finance Committee did discuss the budget again in their April meeting. I just want to bring to everybody's attention, the budget was advertised in the newspaper as required on April 15th. That was approved by the county superintendent, and we have a public hearing, so that's good. We also have a few items on the agenda related to technology contracts that are partially E-rate funded. So there's 3 contracts on the agenda this evening, that total approximately $150,000. But for these services, we are eligible for E-rate reimbursement of approximately 40% for the items that qualify for that. So again, these services are included in the 24-25 budget, and they do utilize the funding to offset some of the costs. That's really it as far as the significant items for the agenda this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty.
So I'll continue with facilities.
Facilities,
So facilities, we did talk about some project updates. The largest ongoing project now is the high school run turf and track. We had an on-site meeting with 2 contractors last week to talk about schedule coordination and logistics. We will decide on, by the end of this month, we had to decide on track colors and field markings and so forth. So that's already in process, coordinating with our athletic department and also our facilities department. We also have for High School South HVAC, we have the change order for fire detectors on the agenda. We did talk about this with the facilities committee previously. There were things that we originally thought were installed, they were not, so they were not in the original scope of work. The total change order is approximately $54,000. Roughly $20,000 that will be deducted from our remaining allowance. So the $34,000 will be added to the contract amount. Again, these are required to meet code, and they were included in the original scope of the work. We did talk about, Mrs. Alflo mentioned it in her presentation, but we did talk more about the Lynn Park Annex project, and we have a $200,000 allotment in the budget to work on that. We talked about how much of that work we could do in-house, and we just need to finalize some drawings. And I know our facilities department is also working on some of the mechanical needs, and we are collectively looking at rebates and incentives that we can get to offset some of that cost. So that work will be ongoing throughout the summer. That's all the significant items.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty.
Mr.
Joan,
Capone,
did you want to?
I just want to add that for this month, we're canceling our facilities meeting because we've gone through a lot of the budget stuff, and we will reconvene it in May so that we can, June, so that we could get an update on our summer programs, what they're going to be doing in the buildings, and so on, so on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about the summer work that we'll be doing in the buildings at that point and updating it. So,
Thank you.
Okay, I'm now going to open the microphone up for public comment or agenda items only. If anyone would like to make a comment, please step forward, your name and address for it. Seeing you don't step and vote, we're going to close the portion of public comment and move on. We have a couple of proclamations here. We have Administrative Professionals Day. Therefore, be resolved, the Middletown Township Board of Education hereby recognizes Wednesday, April 24th, 2024 as Administrative Professionals Day and expresses deep appreciation to the administrative professional for their unselfish service to schools, departments, and the community. We also have School Principals Day. Therefore, be resolved, the Middletown Township Board of Education do hereby proclaim Monday, March 1st, 2024 as National School Principals Day in Middletown Township Public Schools. We have Teacher Appreciation Day. Therefore, be it resolved, the Middletown Township Board of Education do hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 as National Teacher Appreciation Day in Middletown Township Public Schools. And lastly, we have School Nurse Appreciation Day. Therefore, be resolved that Middletown Township Board of Education School District do hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 8, 2024 as School Nurse Appreciation Day in the Middletown Township Public Schools. I'm just going to add in my report that I'm very proud of Middletown North and Middletown South for being recognized by U.S. News and World Reports being the top or the best high schools in the country. No matter where they fell, it's irrelevant. They should all be proud, the teachers and the students alike, that they have been recognized for all their hard work throughout the year. And I think they're owed a round of applause by all of us. If I was the person who is making this decision, I would say Middletown schools are the best in the nation, but unfortunately, it's not. But proud of everyone and congratulations. I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Alphone for a superintendent report.
I'm sorry, I have to listen. Is this on? It didn't sound like it for a second. So a couple of logistical items. We have our amended school calendar on the agenda for tonight. If you remember from the weather-related days, our last day for students will be June 20th. Our middle school graduations are scheduled for June 18th, and our high school graduations are scheduled for June 19th with a rain date of June 20th. High school exam schedules will be sent out in the next week or so. We do have it structured. We just want to look at it one more time before our high school admin teams send those out to our school communities. On the amended calendar, you'll notice that the last day for staff members is scheduled for Monday, June 24th, because Friday the 21st is our federal Juneteenth holiday observed. We are going to allow our staff members to make a decision as to whether or not they would like to exercise that holiday on that Friday or come in that Monday. If they choose to come in on Friday, then they certainly do not have to come in on the Monday, but on certain federal holidays when students are not present and 12-month employees are here, we can give them that flexibility, and I think we will have probably many staff members that will take advantage of that to close out the year on a Friday versus a Monday, but everybody will have that personal choice available to them. I would also like to extend my congratulations to both High School North and High School South for being named the U.S. News and World Report Best High Schools for 2024. And that's statewide, regional, which is the New York metro area, and then also national. So all three categorical areas, both high schools were included within. Again, commending our students from High School North on their successful start to the AAA Club. I'm just so proud of them. I can't say enough. They took the idea and they ran with it. Thank you to Mr. Cullen for making sure that he was staying on top of them because, you know, they're very motivated high school boys that are involved in a lot of things. So I know they wanted to get it done, and Mr. Cullen kind of was the one revisiting it, but it was all their idea. And those kids, I'm going to be publishing in my newsletter for the month on Friday some pictures from it, and it's just amazing. So kudos to those young men. And thank you to their parents for raising such outstanding kids. I do want to talk a little bit about our ESS program. I've just been aware that there's some misinformation that I think is kind of making its rounds on social media. So I want to take this opportunity to kind of correct that narrative if I can. As I mentioned, ESS is our Tier 3 counseling support program that is present in a number of our buildings within the district. We do not house it in every single school because that wouldn't be appropriate and not financially responsible, quite frankly. In this program, it's not just about providing a counselor, but it's also the other supports that are provided to families for students that may need support for their children and their families who are having challenging situations. So that includes treatment plans for students, individual, group, and family therapies, family and caregiver support, urgent interventions when needed, like immediate mobile response, classroom push-in support, and direct link to medical professionals, including medication management. So it's not just about the counselor in the building, it's about the full complement of resources that the students that are a part of the program and also the school benefits from. So I want just to make that clear, like it's a collective community benefit. In our schools that do house ESS, we have also layered in additional resources, such as board-certified behavior analysts and registered behavioral technicians to further support our students that may be experiencing challenging behaviors. Having a clinician is only a piece of the puzzle. So you have to provide a layered approach to resources, so that way students have a variety of supports at their disposal in order to move towards greater success in inclusive environments. And I know the mission of my administrative team and of this board is to do everything in our power to keep every single student we can within the walls of our school building. And I won't concede that until we've exhausted every single opportunity out there, including layering in supports like this. How do we determine where ESS is placed? That comes with a lot of analysis of what's going on throughout the district. It is not haphazard. We often, I would say most often, place the program where there's the highest organic need, meaning the most kids in that building at the given time that need that type of support. And the goal of that is to not displace students from their home school. So when we look at how do you get a program in your building, or why did my building get a program like that, that is the reason. It's because we are trying to do what's right by the students that are a part of that organic population and not disrupt students needlessly. These are district-wide programs, so while we do house them in places where those organic populations are the highest, we do often invite other students to become a part of that school community, and our hope is that those school communities embrace those students with open arms and really bring them into the fold with a great degree of empathy and understanding for the type of support that they may need to be successful. We always are paying attention to this. Just because a program is housed in one school for 1 year, that does not necessarily mean that will be the landscape for next year. However, we go back to that, where is the organic need? How do we displace as few students as possible? And we certainly look to support the schools with these multiple layers, because not only do the students, as I said, benefit who are in the program, but the entire school community benefits from it. And I do believe there are lots and lots and lots of lessons to be learned through the mindset and the lens of inclusion, especially empathy. So I just wanted to make sure that there was an understanding community-wide of how we approach this and there's a lot of intention and a lot of hard work that goes in behind the scenes to ensure that we're doing all we can, as I said, and it's something I will never concede if I don't have to, is our goal is to keep students here and to bring them back if temporarily they do have to travel outside of our district to get some additional supports that we can't provide for whatever reason. But, and that has been a mindset shift for us in the community. So, thank you to those buildings that are supporting those programs, and thank you to those families that are helping to develop those really, really important skills of empathy in their children. So, that's all I'll say about ESS. I'm very passionate about it because I do feel like it's important. We do have on the agenda this evening the appointment of the high school North principal position. After an extensive interview process, I am making the recommendation to the Board of Ed for Mr. Matthew Ferry to assume the position effective July 1. And I am certainly confident that Mr. Ferry will continue to foster the attitude of excellence that Mr. Cullen has sparked at High School North over the last 2 years and continue to progress the school community in a positive direction. If the indication of a U.S. News and World Report best high school categorization is any indication, I would say we're doing a pretty great job over there. So I know Mr. Ferry is going to continue that along. Congratulations to our support professional staff members that we honored this evening. It's always great when we get to bring what I refer to as our unsung heroes up on the stage for recognition from the communities and their colleagues. So congratulations to them. And the last thing, and I just want to make mention of our evolution of our Parent Information Committee, PIC as it's referred to. We are going to try to do things a little bit differently for the future to try to get more specific and targeted conversations around some of the initiatives within the district. So we're going to be pulling on that PIC group to come together in small group forums with myself and some of our curriculum team or special services departments, dependent upon the initiative, to have small feedback sessions where parents can really have a voice in creating impactful change. So I thank you for your continued support, and we're looking forward to a great rest of the school year.
Thank you, Ms. Upholm. Okay, moving over to approval of the meeting minutes, I need a motion to approve 11A and B.
So moved.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Need a motion to approve appointments for professional services 12A and B.
So moved.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. The motion to approve business office consent agenda 13A through I.
So moved.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. The motion to approve recommendation of superintendent of schools consent agenda 14A through N minus N13.
So moved. Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Wait a minute. And 13?
Minus N13, we're doing a roll call on N13.
Okay.
Discussion,
This is it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention.
No on A, recommendations of the consent agenda, the harassment law, A. No on the founded and
Okay.
yes on the unfounded.
Okay,
And I am voting no on the founded with the exception of 261075 and yes on the non-founded.
everyone else good?
Yes.
And I need a motion to approve 14N13.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Amy, can I get a roll call?
Absolutely. Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mrs. Benoist?
Yes.
Mrs. Skolasky?
Yes.
Mr. Toth?
Yes.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capella?
Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Ferry. I will say, as Mr. Collins in the room, yeah, big shoes to fill. If he left the room, I'd say you have tremendous shoes to fill.
Don't make it that big.
Because,
Right, he's gotta come to the curriculum office. Gonna make it that too big.
we're going to continue on the legacy we have going on here, and congratulations, Mr. Ferry. Wish you all the best, and we're rooting for you every day of the way. Okay, we have old business. Anybody have old business?
Yes, I just want to say that I attended Art Fusion here, and it was outstanding. I don't know how many people got to see it or how many community members. This place was packed, but the artwork was exceptional, and it gets better and better every year. So I think that that's going to get even better with the inclusion of elementary art and music and all that good stuff, and can't wait to see what happens in the future.
I was there as well, and I will ditto on what Joan said. It was beautiful. New business. Anybody have any new business?
I do, and it's going to be a little bit much, but first I want to say congratulations to Julia March of High School South. During the interview process for scholarships, I found out that Julia is the Pennsylvania Women's Cyclocross Champion and NICA New Jersey JV4 Champion for 2023 and the New Jersey Mountain Bike Series leader. Which brings me to the next thing is I know we have bikes in this district because we purchased them. And this young lady has done a tremendous job with cycling. And we would never know if I didn't sit on the interview. And it's something we don't know what a lot of our kids are doing. I wish there was a way we could reach out and do a survey every year and let kids tell us what they're doing on the outside of school, because some of these accomplishments are amazing. I also wanted to congratulate Patrick Devine, which Aiden spoke about before. It's his first round of high school nationals, his first year in powerlifting. And he came in third place in the nation in his weight group. And he also, after finishing that, broke 5 New Jersey state records. And he's the only one that I know in the high school that's doing powerlifting, so I think that's a humongous accomplishment. So I just wish we could find out more things like this about our students and what they're involved in, because it's good character. Next, I want to talk, I had the privilege of sitting in on the honor of being part of the scholarship interviews for High School North. And to talk about best high schools, both our high schools, it's an understatement. I mean, I hope you go with me with what I'm gonna tell you, but almost all who interviewed are leaving with college credits. And at least a large portion of them are leaving with 1 year's worth of college credits. That's incredible. So listen to them speak and how much time and effort they put in besides their extracurricular activities. I don't know how they do it. Good time management. Many of them have mastered 3 languages. That's very impressive. Quite a few of them hold leadership positions in their jobs they hold within the community. Most of them expressed how grateful they were to Dr. Cartier and Mr. Cullen for their leadership and support during their high school career. Everyone had at least 1 or more teachers that they felt encouraged them to go above and beyond to succeed. And a lot of teachers' names were repeated over and over again. And just the kind words that the students had to say about these people, it says a lot for our district. All expressed that they were provided what they needed to get where they are today and prepare them for college. I asked them all one question: what could we have done differently, or would you have liked to see us improve during your time at North? More information about vocational was a big plus. Promote AP courses earlier, especially a freshman year, but you have to consider that this class of seniors were a COVID class, so that was almost impossible to do. And I did express that we have made a big difference in that. Advertise clubs earlier and prove how we advertise them. They want to know ahead of time and more frequently what's available. More student and staff events. Need to make opportunities more available. more opportunities to pick classes in fields that they're interested in. And if you notice, none of these things are negative. These are all just things that they're grateful for what they had, but maybe they would have liked to see a little more. Advertise Google Classroom more. And I asked them what courses would they like to have seen. They want to see a class on applying to college. I thought that was pretty impressive. They want to see more astronomy courses, full-year methodology, accounting classes, and they also want a cycling club, and we all know who wants that. But she'll be going. Changes that we could have made. Rethink your 80-minute schedule. Combine 3 aspects of theater, acting, singing, and dance. In the robotics class, work with the robotics earlier in the course and encourage students to do more French honor. Things they will always remember the most, and I can't disagree with them because I was there too. First, the bonfire. It meant a lot to every one of them. And secondly, traveling to Newark on the train to support the hockey team. That was a big, big remember thing for them. Okay, our students are doing and accomplishing so many things we have no idea about outside the school. So I wish there was a way that we could connect and find out what it is they're doing. In conclusion, we have 2 great high schools, both learning the same curriculum, both getting accepted into great colleges, and both have students excelling in vocational and coming out with great paying jobs. With the way the rankings come out, I feel sometimes North has gotten a bad rap. Maybe with our new principal, Mr. Furry, we can get to the bottom of the problem and find out why we're so far ranked when we have all the same curriculum, 2 great high schools, and it would be nice to see them both up there together. I just want to take a minute to read the list of colleges that these kids got accepted into. And each college has 5 or 6 kids that it got accepted to each one of these colleges. So I just want to read the list off. NJIT, Brookdale, Stevens, University of Delaware, Stockton, Rutgers, Main Street, skip that one, Marist, Muhlenberg, Monmouth, Rhode Island, Ramapo, TC&J, Amherst, VT, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Columbia, Ohio State, Michigan State, Maryland, William Patterson, NYU, Seton Hall, Pace, UConn, James Madison, Penn State, Northeastern, Rowan, Rider, Kane, Bucknell, Fairfield, University of Pittsburgh, University of New Hampshire, University of Florida, University of Tennessee, Georgian Court, Ithaca, William Mary, Case Western, American, Cornerstone Honors Program, Dartmouth, Fordham, DeSalle, Quinnipiac, Stony Brook, Purdue, FDU, Clemson, Indiana University, Knoxville, High Point, Georgetown, Marymount Honors, Boston, Princeton, Browns, and I'm sure there's a few that I left out. But these are all great high schools that our kids got accepted into, and Middletown should be proud of both high schools for these accomplishments. And with just one request, that maybe the high school scholarship committees could meet and revamp their goals on who can apply for scholarships. And that kind of came from our committee, that they would like to see find a way to make it available for other students that could apply. Because we have many struggling students financially and they're academically doing very well. So kudos, and it was an honor to serve on this committee. I haven't done it for a few years, but it was impressive. And it really makes you have to stop and think about what Middletown is really about and what kind of education that we are affording to our kids. And it's outstanding.
Great, thank you, Ms. Minuez.
I'm done.
Okay, how about Jake, Adriana, would anybody like to say anything? You good? Sure. We're now going to open the microphone up for public comment. Does anyone have anything to say? Sorry. Public comment. If you'd like to make a comment, please state your name and address for the
Stand behind.
I'm sorry.
I want to speak with Bob. Stand behind.
Hi, my name is Jody Tamara, I'm from Ocean Avenue. And I know you talked about ESS, and I want to say that I do have empathy. I have a family member that's in a similar program, 9 years old, so my son understands. But for some time now, he has been deteriorating emotionally and mentally due to what he's seeing. And recently it's become physical. He comes out of school every day full of a complete anxiety mode if he's not crying due to the disruptions and the chaos. He has started to tell me that he hates school, that he doesn't want to go. He's trying to make me keep him home. This past week, he came home with broken blood vessels in his face due to him grunting in frustration because he couldn't learn. Because if he had put his noise canceling headphones on, he wouldn't have heard the teacher teach. On a good day, there's only 1 or 2 incidences. Sometimes there's 3 or 4, sometimes 5. This is all impeding on his education. And it's emotionally, he's not able to get a grasp on it. And now, recently, he was attacked. Thank God he did know what the program meant, so that he only defended himself. I don't want him hurting nobody. I don't want nobody getting hurt. My concern is that I understand the program is successful for some, but what about, are we doing any studies on the other children? What it's doing to them emotionally, physically, mentally? If we could look into that, because I don't know what else to do with them. I don't. It's just heartbreaking to me. I'm actually trying not to cry. There's also lack of parent participation at Ocean Avenue. We feel, we don't know that for sure, because we feel like we're not allowing the building to see what's going on, because things go on in there. And it's just sad, and I hope that someone can help us, because we don't know what else to do then. Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Elgamali, North Middletown. Obviously, I'm here with Jody as well. Sorry. This gets me very emotional, just like it gets Jody emotional. My son has been in school since he was 3 years old. He's no angel by any means, but he loves school. School works for him. My son has a 504. He has an ADHD diagnosis. Schedule means everything to him. A couple of months ago, my son came home depressed because he had been through so much in his class. He loved his teachers. His teacher improved his reading where he struggles the most, 42 points on his iReady. And I give that credit to the teacher. She understood him and helped him in ways that he needed to be helped. I watched him slowly deteriorate, just like Jody's son. My son came home one day and laid in his bed from 3:30 to 8 p.m. and did not have anything to eat because he's depressed. Their solution? Move my son out of class. How is that fair to my son? My son's 9 years old and he looked at me and said, "Mommy, why do I have to move?" Again, he's no angel, but he loves new friends. He was embarrassed. He was almost assaulted. And he became so depressed that I didn't know what to do. I did speak to Mrs. Alfon. I spoke to the mayor. I spoke to Mr. Fitzgerald. I spoke to Mrs. Menendez. But we need a change. We do. And I really hope to see that. And I agree that studies need to be done on the 19 other children that are in the class, because it's emotionally wrecking them. I love Ocean Avenue School, but as of right now, I have an incoming kindergartner in September. I am debating if I feel safe enough to send my 2 children to that school because of what is happening. It's scary, and I don't want to see this. I don't. And I know there are 19 other children suffering. But in the same sense, when he was moved, and this is not the fault of any teacher, but the teacher that was in that class, another amazing teacher, and he does have friends in that class, but she went out on maternity leave 4 days later. 4 days. He got 4 days to learn a new teacher, a student teacher at that. She is amazing. But that other class had from September to March to learn. My child had 4 days, and he is now struggling again. He still, to this day, comes home angry and sad because he had to move. He had to move. Not had to, I mean, by choice, he did want to move, but he really shouldn't have had to move, in reality. He shouldn't have. And I feel like the accommodations that are making, and I understand why accommodations need to be made, and that is perfectly fine, but we also need to keep in mind the 19 other children, because accommodations are not being made for them. There is no reason a child should have to put on noise-canceling headphones to be able to learn. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, sorry. Would anyone else wish to make a public comment? Seeing no one stepping forward, I wish to close the public comment portion and adjourn the meeting.
So, second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Have a great night, everyone.